It's time for our daily dose of cope. And we have Leon Leopard delivering today's Leopards News Network's posts. And just like the other days, the leopards have been especially hungry. These poor leopards are probably going to need some kind of Weight Watchers plan by spring. So yesterday, a buddy sent me this meme saying Jeff Bezos is now in the process of convincing Donald Trump to eliminate the USPS, the United States Postal Service. Get ready to pay $15 to send a letter through Amazon. This is a government of billionaires by billionaires and for billionaires. And that segues perfectly to this post that's in the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit on USPS. This content creator named Dreamleaf says, Trump privatizes USPS. It's not profitable to deliver to rural areas. His own voters will be most affected. So the person who posted this, Banana Bustillo, says rural communities will be affected by the privatization of the United States Postal Service because it would be cost prohibitive. And then this person named Jerry says, my question is, why didn't Democrats do anything for 4 years when Biden was president? Not being cynical, I honestly don't legitimately understand if this was so important, why we ignored it. And then to that I said, the United States Postal Service is in the Constitution. What were the Dems supposed to do? I highly doubt Trump can privatize anything anyways. And the whole point is he keeps talking about things. And if he were to get his way, if he were able to chip away at the Postal Service, it's going to hurt his own voters, just like every single thing that he proposes will hurt them. And like I keep saying, I hope sincerely from my heart that they are hurt first and worse, because I want them to feel exactly what they voted for. Rob from Long Island says, farms won't care much after they abandon their farms, especially if the farm subsidies don't go through, especially if they have to deport all of their farm workers. Yeah, especially if tariffs go through and then everything is cost prohibitive. It's going to be a whole cluster F. And I'll say it again. Hopefully they feel it really harshly. I mean. Rubik's Sugar Cube says Big Ag will move in and take everything over, and the reps and senators from those states will be cool with it because their marching orders will be even more straightforward. Kennison Khan says, except they kind of already have taken over. Where they used to buy directly from the farms, now they'll have to buy those farms and hire people to operate them. It might cause the price of produce to jump a tad, just a tad. And then this person at the bottom says, most of the jobs will be done by robots anyways. I had to get to this comment. Fee Beep says, can't wait for my grandpa who lives in butt F nowhere and depends on the VA to send him his meds through USPS to get everything he voted for. Especially, but it might not even matter if Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are able to cut VA benefits. These people are just all over the place, just doing wrong stuff. September Fox says, well, once they're done gutting the VA too, as he promised, he won't have to worry about it. Can't have a problem getting his meds mailed if they're not supplied to start with. Exactly. This person says he will blame the Dems. B. Dunn says that's not going to help him much though. And Riku says they always do. Now, here's an article from Forbes asking the question, can Trump privatize the Postal Service? What to know as President-elect says he's looking at USPS changes. All right, it says President-elect Donald Trump said Monday he's considering trying to privatize the USPS, confirming a recent reporting by the Washington Post, as the president-elect has long-eyed making major cuts to the federal agency. That may now be possible in his second term. Privatizing USPS is not the worst idea I've ever heard, Trump told reporters at a press conference Monday, saying his team was looking at it after the Post reported Trump had discussed privatizing the agency with Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick. Members of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, run by billionaires Leon Musty, and Vivek Ramaswamy, had also held preliminary conversations about major changes to USPS, the Post reported, and Musk seemingly endorsed privatization on X. formerly known as Twitter, on Monday, responding yes to a post that called for privatizing the agency and letting Americans opt out of receiving physical mail. It's still unclear what concrete steps Trump could take to make sweeping changes to USPS, though. Reuters previously reported Trump's transition team is considering canceling the agency's contracts for a new fleet of electric mail trucks. The USPS is part of the federal government, even though it's predominantly self-funded and has a universal service obligation to provide affordable and uniform service everywhere in the country, even in more remote geographic locations. Trump, during his first presidential term, threatened to privatize the agency and has long decried it as calling it a joke, though his administration ultimately never made any major moves to make USPS private after facing bipartisan opposition. Republicans have also started ramped up criticism of USPS in recent weeks, with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene saying poor management of the agency is costing taxpayers billions, and Representative James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, arguing at a recent House Oversight Committee hearing that there are aspects of the USPS operations that would be better left to the private sector. A crucial quote: USPS has not yet responded to a request for comment on Trump's remarks Monday, but the agency pointed to its recent efforts to decrease costs in a statement to the Post and said it is already engaged in an initiative to ensure that we can provide our customers with a high level of service to every delivery address in the nation at least 6 days a week in an efficient and financially sustainable fashion as required by law. How could Trump privatize the USPS? Fully privatizing the USPS or ending its universal service obligation would likely take an act of Congress, and it's unclear if there would be enough support from Republicans to do so. Many GOP lawmakers represent rural districts that rely on the Postal Service's universal service mandate, though while there was bipartisan opposition to privatization during Trump's first term, it remains to be seen if enough right-wing lawmakers would still be willing to push back against Trump should he propose it again in the upcoming months. The incoming president could have wide latitude to force reforms on USPS even without Congress. However, the Post suggested even if he can't privatize it entirely, Trump appears poised to exert significant influence over the agency's board of governors, which oversees USPS and can impose sweeping reforms. 2 Trump appointees already serve on the 9-person board, and there are 3 vacancies on the board that appear unlikely to be filled by the time President Joe Biden leaves office, potentially giving Trump a majority of appointees who could sign off on his vision for the agency. The USPS is also reliant on federal loans from the Treasury Department, which the Post notes Trump could try to withhold unless the agency falls in line with the changes he wants to make. This is a whole mess. It's going to be interesting to see. And I don't know if y'all remember that time where there were piles and piles of packages piled up during the Trump administration time when he was trying to gut the administration, when he was trying to gut the agency. That was good times. Old folks not getting the medicines they need, people not getting their checks, people not getting their packages. We are in for a wild next 4 years. Okay, so that's this. Let me know what you think about this one. So this is the next post to discuss in the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit, saying, this sure isn't going to age well. And it says MAGA, maybe afford groceries again. Yes, we're going to see how well that ages. I do want to remind us all that Trump admitted that he might not be able to bring down the price of groceries. He literally just said it after going on and on and on about how he was going to make the prices of groceries just drop. But like the OP who posted this says, Trumpy already says it's not happening. Expert Celery says, MAGA, we want lower groceries prices. Then she says, me, why not vote for the candidate who wants to lower grocery prices? MAGA, votes for the candidate who wants to raise grocery prices. The logic ain't gonna logic. Mr. Mann says, but you see, Trump personally cares about Americans. That's the difference. A person at the bottom says, Trump will personally pay for my groceries if he's pregnant. President. That's what he meant. Someone posted this article saying, good thing eggs will be cheaper. So now we're going to look at this post from Axios. I love that they post so many articles over here in the Leopards Ate My Face subreddit. I don't have to go through and search and find all of these articles. This is titled, Meatpacking Industry Supports Trump, but Braces for Deportation Fallout. So, oh, okay. You would think that they know who they employ, but maybe they don't. Let's see what the article says. Many in the meatpacking industry were happy to see Donald Trump reelected, but are also fearful it won't be able to operate without the workers he may try to deport. Why it matters. Meatpacking, more than almost any other industry in this country, relies on foreign-born labor, whether documented or not. It would face critical challenges if those workers disappeared due to mass deportation. Yet, meat-related interests overwhelmingly supported Trump financially in 2024, knowing the potential risk to their business. The big picture. Meatpacking is dangerous and difficult to staff, even in the best of circumstances. If you ask anybody on the packing side of things, going back before COVID, no one's going to tell you there's a bigger challenge in the meat supply chain than labor. Ethan Lane, VP of Government Affairs for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Now, please remember, keep this in mind. Republicans are trying to lower the age to which people can actually work in factories and stuff. So what they are really trying to do, they're trying to make people allow kids to go work because they know that they're about to try to mass deport these people. They're also simply trying to make it so that women are forced to birth these babies. So it keeps them in poverty and keeps a steady stream of people to work these dangerous or low-paying jobs. Please keep this in mind that this is all part of a big plan. They are literally trying to make sure that they keep some kind of people poor for a reason. This is another reason why they're also trying to gut education, because smarter people will probably go for different types of jobs, and the poor people or the poorly educated will have no options in the jobs that they take. So this is all part of a big plan. All right, it says, zoom in. One off-cited estimate suggests that 30 to 50% of all laborers in the meatpacking industry are undocumented. Producers will dispute that, but no one disagrees the industry relies on migrant labor. This is a decision by the industry. It's a wink and a nod. This is how they keep labor costs down, says Debbie Berkowitz, a fellow at Kalmanovitz Initiative at Georgetown and a former OSHA chief of staff. Like some, the NC Pork Council deny that their producers use undocumented labor, but they also concede labor shortages plague the industry and point to a need for immigration reform to expand visas for laborers. The pandemic further exposed how immigrant labor has been used to sustain the industry, with high-profile COVID outbreaks highlighting their vulnerability and critical role they play. Zoom out. Trump's team has said their deportation program would first target criminals. Through an Axios review, found that to be a relatively small number. The transition, asked about any plans for undocumented meatpacking workers, reiterated its intent to target illegal criminals, drug dealers, and human traffickers in a statement to Axios. But those who work with undocumented laborers say the mere sight of deportation can have a domino effect. Many of the people in my book, they were or are undocumented. And even if they now have residency, they have family who are undocumented and they're scared, says Alice Driver, whose book, Life and Death of the American Worker, examines the lives of undocumented meatpacking workers. Driver and others say the specter of deportations could be enough to tip the industry into crisis as workers flee or stop showing up to work, even if the plants aren't being raided. If packing plants are short of labor, that raises another concern, the availability and price of meat. All-time high prices. Zoom out. Prices for staple meats are already at or near 20-year highs per the Bureau of Labor Statistics. A pound of fresh whole chicken that cost $1.36 in February of 2020 cost $2.08 last month, while a pound of 100% chuck roast rose from $4.03 to $5.61. So we will see what happens after tariffs are added and people are deported. This is going to be such an interesting time. This is going to be an interesting time. The fact that so many people voted and they knew that they would be harmed by his policies is astounding, but nobody ever confused these people with being smart. I don't. I think that they are the complete opposite of smart. And then when you take the complete opposite of smart, I say take it down 17 pegs, and that's how smart they are or how unsmart they are. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think of all of this. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.